Dear Father, thank you so much for the blessings of our community. We lift up the community of San Bernardino tonight, as they go through a truly senseless tragedy there. Please be with the victims and the victims' families in this time. Please provide hope in that community, love, and a sense of togetherness there. Please watch over our men and women in service, both home and abroad, and bless this community, this truly magical, miraculous time of year. We ask these things in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next up is I have a proclamation this evening. We have the Canby Community Food and Toy Drive, sponsored by Canby Kiwanis. Whereas the Canby Community Food and Toy Drive, sponsored by Canby Kiwanis, originated for the purpose of providing toys and food for less fortunate families in our community. And whereas by way of this proclamation, the City of Canby recognizes that greater public awareness and involvement is needed in order for such programs to achieve their highest potential of providing and promoting joy to each household in this community. And whereas Canby community members have undertaken the project of collecting and distributing toys and food to these needy families during the month of December, and whereas donations for food baskets can be left at various locations around Canby, now, therefore, I, Brian Hodson, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the City of Canby, do hereby proclaim December 13th through December 19th as Canby Community Food and Toy Drive Week, sponsored by Canby Kiwanis, and urge all people in the City of Canby to observe this time by participating in this toy and food drive, helping to provide assurance that each family may have a twinkle in their eye this holiday season. Given unto my hand this second day of December 2015. And I think we have a couple of coins here tonight. Well, I'll jump by. There you go.
Tosh is wearing that hat.
Sure would. Yeah.
Oh, he's putting the hat on. Good. Excellent.
You've got guts.
So I'm this year's president of Canby Kiwanis. The food drive last year, we did about 400 food baskets. This year, and about 1,100 children got toys due to the Canby community. And I like it being called the Canby Community Food and Toy Drive because it truly is our entire community working on this. The Kiwanis have done the food drive since about 1950. We've been involved in the food drive. There was another organization, Canby Police, and some others that did the toy drive up through the 80s. And then it was a good fit to put the two together. So now we're doing the two. Normally we have a big warehouse to do this all in, but you know, the Canby economy is a little bit better. There are no empty warehouses, which is a good thing for the city, but a bad thing for the Kiwanis. We're at the fairgrounds this year. A little bit logistical difference. Before we sort a lot right now, and we have a good place to put all this stuff. We have the building between the 12th and the 19th. We're distributing on the 18th and 19th. So it's going to be kind of a whirlwind. We have a place we're putting stuff. We're starting to sort stuff, but it's going to be kind of a whirlwind to get it done. But we're going to get it done and get everything out to the community. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
And this is all for you guys to get them started. So if you want to come up and collect it right now, you're more than welcome to.
It's an annual tradition.
Yep.
Well, you know, you can have the box that I put the food in.
Yeah, it's a good-looking laundry basket.
Yeah, I need that. I have kids. I produce a lot of laundry.
Never have enough of those.
Thanks, Todd.
that, John.
Allergic to work.
I'm sorry, Todd, before you go, do you need volunteers for baskets and putting those together?
Yes, we will. We will need some volunteers. We don't know exactly what days right now.
Okay.
Like I say, we're going to move stuff in there the afternoon of the 12th, and we're going to start working on it then. But yeah, we will need volunteers. Get a hold of the thrift store.
Okay.
If you're interested in being a volunteer, leave your name and number there, and we'll get back to you and give you a time and give you when you can come and help us out.
Okay.
That would be great.
Great. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
All right, communications.
I do actually have one thing. We did receive notice this last week from the Oregon Utility Notification Center. We've hit something of a milestone exceeding 15,000 population. The Oregon Utility Notification Center is the call before you dig group, so that they can cite utilities, underground utilities. And previously, as a community of under 15,000, we paid a flat fee of $500 a year for that service to be provided to all those in the community who called. Because we have surpassed 15,000, and based on their information from 2014, we're just over 16,000. We are now paying on a per-call basis, $1.05 per ticket. That'll do a little bit more than double our costs. The estimate based on 2014 numbers, about $1,188. So the good news is we're growing. The bad news is it costs us more money.
Yeah, we were bracing ourselves for that dot. We're waiting. Here it comes. It's not a good letter.
Not a good letter.
Congratulations. Congratulations. You get to pay more.
Actually, in some respects, it is because it means that people are calling before they
At
did.
least calling.
So we do appreciate that. It's a whole lot easier to fix a problem when you've identified it before you put the shovels and the equipment in the ground than it is after the gas is leaking, as we found out earlier this week.
I was just going to comment.
saw that one.
Maybe not everyone is calling. All right. Well, thank you for that, Rick. Right now is our first opportunity for citizen input and community announcements, and I believe Chief Davis has both.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor and City Council, thank you for the short opportunity or the opportunity to make a presentation tonight that we're very proud of. Canby Fire Department has one of our major initiatives through our strategic plan is to raise our survival rate in Canby when we arrive to a cardiac arrest. Our goal is to try to bump it up from 20% chance of survival to 30, and then we'll work from there. But part of that, the most important part, is our partnership with the Canby Police Department. On November the 5th at about 6:09, we were dispatched to a two-car vehicle accident at 99 and Ivy. It was a minor head-on accident. The officers arrived at around 2 minutes later. Officer Chrisman and Officer Canby arrived, and upon my arrival, I found that they had initiated CPR on a gentleman that was in the front seat of the vehicle. Shortly after that, 2 minutes later, the firefighters arrived and took over the resuscitation efforts. I'm proud to announce that the gentleman that had sustained the heart attack, the firefighters worked on him for nearly 20 minutes at the scene, transported him to Meridian Park Hospital, and about 2 weeks later, he walked in our front door to thank the firefighters and was going to also look up the firefighter or the police officers that arrived at the scene that initiated the CPR. Part of recognition for the people, and it truly is a team effort, and it starts with our dispatchers. Our dispatchers receive the information and can then initiate and hope that the people will start CPR. Then, of course, police officers are out in the street and many times will arrive well before the fire department And with the cooperation of the Canby Police Department, we've gained that partnership of the police officers willing to jump in there and to start CPR, and we're even working towards putting AEDs, automatic defibrillators, in the patrol cars so that they can hook up and administer shock with our automatic defibrillators. So with that, it's my privilege to give the first challenge coins, the Chain of Survival coins that we're going to recognize people with when they were successful on a resuscitation. So I'd like to call up Officer Chrisman, Officer Conkey, and firefighter Bob Pulford to give them their coins.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for doing it, you guys. Really appreciate it.
You guys did an excellent job doing it here.
He wouldn't tell me what to do. I wouldn't tell him why he was here. He was worried he was going to have to make a presentation. So you can see, I'll do that. So you can pass it around the council.
Thanks, Chief.
To put this into perspective, there is no doubt that this gentleman would not have survived if first PD, first on scene, and then followed up by Canby Fire Department hadn't acted immediately and exactly in the way they did, and had they not continued efforts during transport. It was just a miraculous effort on part of both our police department and our fire department.
Well, thank you, Chief, and thank you, gentlemen, very, very much. It's huge. So, yeah, I think it's a great team effort that you guys have with your relationship. And, thank you, Chief, and the officers, too. That's an incredible service we have in our community, and you never know. That's what all that training and practice is for, because you never know when it's going to be needed. So, thank you very much. You guys want it a moment? We can wait a moment if you want to slip out, or you guys want to hang out. Because I know how much you love to hang out here. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks.
Can you get colder?
And now
Any
that
other
everybody's
citizen
on,
input?
put him to Bob.
Bob? Anything? Okay.
He's the only one left.
Yeah, I know, all right.
We haven't screwed up yet.
Jumping into mayor's business, whole slew of just updates and thank yous. First off, I want to thank Jason Gingrich and everyone at Bridging Cultures for their Thanksgiving event they held over at Baker Prairie. And thank you to a number of the counselors that were there. It was great. We had there's several hundreds of people there were 400 people that were at the event, and it was incredible music and just everyone hanging out and talking. It was a great community event. So thank you to Bridging Cultures for kind of capping off the year with such a great event. Myself and a couple of members of the city staff attended a meeting with the new leadership of the Canby Garden Club, who have new energized leadership and are wanting to tackle the beautification of 99E. So we had a very lengthy meeting with them about what they can do to help us, and what they, in return, how can we help them bring some color and some, I think, vegetation and whatnot to 99E. And so Matilda was there, and Renata and Jamie and Rick, and so we kind of shared some of the 99E corridor plan with them, and kind of gave them suggestions on where they can start. And the big Pete, was at the chamber office, so Mallory Gwynn was there with the chamber. So some really good dialogue. I think we gave them, sent them away with a pretty long to-do list to get things going. They're very excited, so I think it's a good group to partner with. In the next couple of months, or probably, I think, we'll probably start to see this here, I think in the spring, for a fall kickoff, is an initiative by Superintendent Goodall to elevate the literacy in Canby. So he's put together a pretty massive task force. Myself and Councilor Height and Irene, our library director, are involved with this task force. So you're going to be hearing a lot of this coming up in the next couple of months. But at the reading level at the elementary school, they're seeing a huge deficiency in a lot of the test scores that come back from last year and kind of go into this year. And so they're really looking at trying to get after that in K through, really preschool through third grade. And so, Tracy, or Councilor Height and I and Library Director will kind of figure out what we can as a city and council do to support that, and go back and keep you guys posted on that. So we're looking to really create some great support and really help get the community behind this piece. Yesterday was Giving Tuesday. Went to the Canby Center last night. And for those of you that don't know the Canby Center, they're right over there by the high school. And they do so much for our community. Initially started by really a group of the churches in the area said, there's a need here. How do we start this? And so they found a director and they kind of put things together, and over the years has really turned into its own little it's kind of its own little juggernaut. It's one of those unfortunate pieces that you wish you didn't have it, but it's here and it helps. But so they had a great meal, gave a presentation, had a couple of speakers, just how the Canby Center has impacted them, and it was great to be, so Giving Tuesday, so you have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and now Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, and then Giving Tuesday. And so it was a great event. There's about 50 people there, 50, 60 people, Tracy? Yeah. And their goal is to raise $30,000. They've got a couple projects they want to try to do there in the center. And so just, again, great organization to be involved in and support here in Canby. The Chamber of Commerce, I want to thank them. They had a great luncheon yesterday. Usually they do a big gift exchange, but this year since it was Giving Tuesday, they decided to focus on the Canby Center and the Kiwanis Club and their community food and toy drive, and then also to help the Cantalinas, which performed, with some of their fundraising efforts as well. And the Cantalinas, it's one of my favorite lunches that the Chamber does, and they were fantastic. And they will be performing the 14th and 16th at the Performing Arts Center. So get there early and get a seat because it always fills up. This weekend, Operation Snuggles on Saturday, another great organization here in town. We'll be doing tie blankets starting at 9 o'clock at Baker Prairie, and we'll go until we're done. I think the goal is 360 blankets this year, because it's going to be for Canby and for Malala as well. So come down, bring scissors, bring friends. There's hot chocolate, donuts. Paul Carlson, I think, MCs it and shows up as Santa Claus. It's a lot of fun. On a business front, so C4 meeting tomorrow night. We have an economic development forum, so our own Renata Mengelberg will be there to talk about with the other economic development county, just kind of talking about what each city's got going on, what we've been doing, what we're looking at down the road here. And then we're also going to be speaking about with the short session here coming up in February, and then the normal session in 2017, what the county needs to be doing from a lobby standpoint. So looking at how we can coordinate efforts on that front. Question for city staff. Moving into the cold season, this came up last year's conversation piece. Warming shelters here in Canby, do we know? I'm looking more to the left of Rick for institutional knowledge from Kim. And I know the Canby, the Adult Center, does some attendance hours during the day, but in terms of evening time, I don't recall.
I'm not aware of any, Chief Davis.
We have some churches in town
Okay.
that do open up and advertise when the weather does turn cold.
Okay. Do you know if there's been any dialogue yet as to
No.
plans? No.
No,
Okay.
they typically don't until the time comes, and then they'll announce that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. then I will reach out to those that I know and see what may be kicking around right now to do that. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully it won't be too cold too soon. Others on a business front for you, Rick, Metro's decided not to expand the urban growth boundary. And so I don't know if that's, I guess I'm looking for maybe some input, maybe obviously not tonight, but maybe for the second meeting in January, just how that may impact us and what we need to be. Does it impact us? Is it a non-issue for us?
Well, at this stage, I can speak, I think, pretty categorically that it's non-issue for us.
Okay.
And I mean, we do have enough land within our own urban growth boundaries, and we have significant acreage in undesignated land, which means it's not tied up in a rural reserve. It gives us the opportunity to convert it to land that we would put in productive use within the city. So I'm not concerned. As a matter of fact, I am perhaps a little bit relieved because it will create a better opportunity for our industrial park to attract new business to it.
Okay. We'll chalk it up. Yeah, just hearing a lot of chatter from some of the mayors within the UGB that are not real excited about that decision, and so.
It's nice to be just outside of it, so we can,
Yes.
we have the advantage of the numbers and the proximity to services within that within Metro, the greater Metro area, and yet we have a level of independence that I think those jurisdictions within Metro don't enjoy to the degree that we do.
I agree. Okay, perfect. Great.
Can I ask a question about
Yes.
that? So most of the cities in the county are within the metro, right?
Most are.
Except for like us, Molalla, Damascus.
Sandy.
So all
Yeah,
east,
Sandy's- yeah,
right?
East,
Okay.
East County is really not, yeah.
Yeah, we're about 5 miles out. We're just on the border.
It's half.
Yeah, Boring's happy.
Poor boring.
That gives
So
us
not a
greater
city,
greater local control over what happens in our communities, and I think that's a good thing.
Indeed.
Thanks, Rick. We will move into Councilor Comments Liaison Reports. Councilor Rocha.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. My liaison appointments don't start until next week. Last month, Canby Fire had theirs on the same night we had council, so I'll catch up on the next week. Are we having it? Is it on the 16th? Which we're not having council meeting this time, so I'll be there. That'd be great. I will be at Light Up at Night this Friday and Operation Snuggle on Saturday. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Parker.
Well, I'll try and keep my scissors from getting in the way of yours on Operation Snuggle on Saturday. I'll be there. They let me have sharp objects. Yeah, that's part of the condition of release, that I get to use sharp objects. So we'll be there at Baker Prairie from 9 until whenever we get it done. Also, I'll be at the tree lighting, which is always one of those great events that we have in town. I walked to City Hall tonight from home and walked through the park and saw that our public works elves have been at work, and it's going to look gorgeous. Yesterday night, the Bicycle Committee had a meeting. We discussed a policymakers ride, which I've talked about before, of getting us on some bikes, and this was their suggestion that perhaps we find a nice level spot on the logging road bridge, logging road, because maybe not everybody has a lot of experience with distant biking. So I'll let you know when we have a day that's available for that, and the committee will coordinate getting bikes if you need them.
Make sure they have bodily injury and liability insurance coverage.
I think we can trust this group not to hurt themselves. And then there was a discussion about the Malala River Keepers ride that happened in August, and the possibility of us extending that into Canby. There may be some news coming up soon about property being available and that sort of thing. So the ability for us to be able to have a bike loop with into the Malala area is something that's has our cycling folks pretty excited. On the Garden Club 99E beautification, hadn't heard about that before. Mayor, if you need a liaison to that, I would be happy to do that, having endured all of the meetings for the 99E plan on that I'd love to help champion that if we could. Also, at the permission of the mayor, I'm exploring with city staff some policy options that we may have in terms of abandoned houses. I think I've talked with each of you individually over the last couple of years of just about how annoying it is to see some crappy, abandoned, foreclosed houses, some 5 years in foreclosure across from what's now the Dahlia Theater, the White Church, and just not getting any traction on that. And as we have another legislative session coming up of examining whether, in fact, there needs to be some statewide legislation that tilts the pendulum a little more towards cities being able to move along the foreclosure action, that it is possible that we may have gone too far in the other side in consumer rights and that type of thing, that long after a family has had to leave a house, that this building remains empty. So I'm going to try and keep it on a fact-finding and policy thing. The mayor's got me on a short leash to make sure that I don't go crazy on this. But as the city grows and gets more beautiful, it just gets more and more annoying to see these crappy houses with broken fences. Do I need to explain that more, or should I send a fax?
Talk about dated.
And yes, thank you. And the Bridging Cultures made me cry. 400 people there, and it was the highest percentage of Anglo to Hispanic that I've seen at any of the events over the past 2.5 years. That was really exciting.
Thank you, Greg. The foreclosed home piece is it's been an interesting thing to, as we've talked over that and gone by a couple of the houses, and they kind of pock through Candy quite a bit, and there is a national strategy that the banks follow, and I don't know if I agree with that strategy, and I think that's what plays into that, but we've got to I think it's worthwhile looking into it and figuring out how we can curb that tide. And we've got houses that are sitting vacant for too long, so I think it's a good idea. Thank you. Council President Dale, your beard is gone. I'm sorry, I skipped right over you.
You did.
Glad you gave me the nod. Thanks.
It's okay.
Councilor Hensley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, still beardless.
Yes.
You are. Yeah.
Okay. I likewise went to the meeting at the Chamber with the Garden Club on the beautification of 99E, and that was a very interesting conversation, so I am looking forward to seeing what comes through with their planning there. Also went to the Chamber luncheon, and the Cantolinas are always amazing. It's always my favorite luncheon as well. And being able to help the Kiwanis and Canby Center was nice, but they passed the hat, and that's one thing that I don't know if you remember hearing the number.
I did hear that number.
Cantolinas got to take $400 away for their efforts yesterday, so that was really nice. Today we had a parade meeting for the General Canby Day, being renamed Canby's Independence Day celebration. So we're moving forward on planning the parade and changing some pieces with the route and that kind of thing. So that's coming together pretty good. We had a good meeting on that. On the liaison front, Traffic Safety Commission meeting is actually next Monday, so I won't have a report until January on what's going on there. But I did want to publicly thank Jack Pendleton, who has resigned from the Traffic Safety Commission, so we do have an opening. I personally would like to see another person from the south side of town. We have kind of heavy on the north side. We only have one from the south side. So if anybody on the south side of town would like to volunteer some time once a month and participate in the Traffic Safety Commission, get a hold of Kim. And CTV5 is looking for volunteers or donations. They're going to be making some pleas for the kind of thing soon, but I thought I'd throw that out there that if you could produce content or even do some help in the office, scheduling, that kind of thing, get a hold of me down at CTV5 and see what kind of opportunities you may be able to help with your skill set. Unfortunately, I planned to go to the Bridge and Cultures thing, and I was sad because I wasn't able to go. It sounds like it was wonderful. I'll have to make sure that nothing gets in my way next year. I will be at the Light the Night, which is 6 p.m. is the parade, Friday night. Rain or shine. Well, I guess it wouldn't be shining. It's nighttime. Okay, rain or chilly. And 6:30-ish or thereabouts, right after the parade, is when they're going to light up the park. I will also be at Operation Snuggle, and I guess I'll stay on the other side of the gym away from you and your scissors. American Legion has a Christmas tree sale on a corner of 2nd and Fur. And, boys, you got a chance for gravy again Sunday. Auxiliary breakfast this Sunday, 8:30 to 11. Use the Fur Street entrance. And since later on the agenda, we're canceling this meeting on the 16th, I just want to say Merry Christmas, Candy. That's all.
Great, and thank you, and I apologize for skipping right over you.
That's
very
okay.
embarrassing. Now we'll go to you, and the beard is gone.
It is. I told them they could have it this long and just for November.
That was it.
So yeah, the girls wanted to see how truly old I could look. So
They didn't talk you into being Santa.
it was successful. Yeah, so the beard is gone. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I don't have any liaison reports. So my first Christmas gift to you this year is the gift of time.
And I will gladly take it. Thank you, sir.
See you Friday night.
See you Friday night. Cal's right.
All right, thanks. For the Canby Public Library, I just have a couple programming announcements for December. On the 8th, this is something interesting. It's called decoupage. It's a French term that means cut out, and so they're making collages. It's for adults and teenagers, so it's a decorative form of collage, something new to bring to the library. And that's 6:30 on the 8th. And then every Sunday, I wanted to promote this. This has been going on probably a year. It's called Intercambio. It's a conversation group for English speakers and Spanish speakers, so you can practice either language that you're practicing, and so it's just a friendly environment to practice your language skills. Sundays from 3 to 4. And there's an open craft time, mostly for kids over Christmas vacation, on the 29th, 30th, and 31st of December from 2 to 4. You make your own crafts. So there's just tables of stuff, of materials and glue and all this fun stuff, and you just create. So if your kids are looking for somewhere to go and they're driving you crazy, go to the library. In terms of Canby area transit, the dial-a-ride ridership is down here and across the region, interestingly, and they've thought there's probably several reasons for that. Whenever TriMet makes a schedule change, or CAT themselves make a schedule change, that affects ridership apparently. And then the Max line, the Orange Max line opening, they think that might have an impact too. There's also 2 supported employment locations that have moved out of our service area, so we don't have those riders. So those are some reasons. But the shopping shuttle is up, so that's interesting. And also they've got new digital radios now in all their buses, and so they're kind of excited about that. It's a closed channel, it has GPS, it has a panic button so they can contact dispatch if there's an emergency, the driver can. And also apparently they have this cool computer panel in the office that has a dot that shows where the buses are. You know, this, I'm not sure what the technical term for that is, but it sounds pretty neat. So yeah, that's exciting for them. And they're having a customer open house on the 15th from 6 to 8 p.m. And so some of the dial-a-ride folks can tour around and look at Christmas lights in town. If you call in advance, then they'll pick you up and take you to see the lights. So that's good for those riders. With the school district, the CARE Award, that's basically the Teacher of the Month Award, that went to Kathleen Jessie this year. This month, I mean. She is a dual language immersion teacher, I think 6th grade at Trost. And she's a friend of mine, too, so I wanted to say hats off to Kathleen. She's been there for many years, very dedicated teacher. And there's a group called REACH that I didn't know about in the Canby School District. It stands for Resources, Education, and Community Health. They gave a presentation at the board meeting. They've been around since the year 2000. It's like a welcome committee, basically, for a welcoming center for families. They're all bilingual speakers there. They provide migrant education, some referral services, social services. Homeless liaison person works in that department, too. And they've recently moved to Ackerman Center. So it's just good for us to know, I think, as counselors and the mayor and city staff, that they exist. It's good for us to know about that. Baker Prairie Middle School, they had their Holistic Peace Institute event about a week ago, and I went, and it was really impressive. About 10 schools from the region, Baker Prairie included, they had students speak and give a speech, like a 2 or 3 minute speech on what they're doing with their Peace Club. And they're very mature and responsible, knowledgeable kids. It's so heartening. Like, here are the leaders of our society, and they're focused on peace at a young age. I was really impressed. And by the way, Jennifer Turner, the principal, got nominated Teacher of the Year for that group on that same afternoon, so it was good for Canby staff as well. And then, the superintendent's reading initiative is super exciting, I think, and the Canby Center will play a key role in that as well. They'll be talking to their church groups, getting volunteers, and we'll be reaching out to the community. But it's really great community outreach, I think. Business, nonprofits, churches, city, school district. The timing is right, I think, and I'm excited to see what we can do with that. Yeah. And then, the Canby Independence Day, I'm on a subcommittee there. Children's activities, we're brainstorming what fun activities, how we can beef that up for the 4th of July. And then Bridging Cultures, I was there too, rah. And I thought it was interesting, the icebreaker game that they did. It was like, find a person who has done this. And they were in English and Spanish, so if you couldn't speak the language, you could show your paper to the Spanish speaker, for example. But it was funny because my kids were really nervous, so I kind of walked them around, and eventually kind of took off themselves. But it was cool. It worked. It was an icebreaker game that was really effective, I thought, and we got to know each other. And the Giving Tuesday event at the Canby Center also was impressive, I thought. Yeah. And the Friends of the Library having their second tour of homes. It's on December 12th from 11 to 3, $15 tickets at the library. New homes are going to be toured this year, mostly on the north side, I think, of town. So all those proceeds go to the library, of course. Light Up the Night, I'm going to be with the Eccles Parade, so we're going to be all bundled up, marching with the students. That'll be fun, so I'll see you there. And then lastly, I wanted to say, give a kudos to Pam Thomas. I have loved the Place to Be for the last, I think, 5 years that she's been in business. Yeah. She's brought so much to this town, and I'm actually devastated almost. I'm sad that she's getting out of the business. So thanks for all you've done, Pam. And she's having a party, I think a New Year's Eve party, to go out with style. So if anybody wants to sign up for that, I think on Facebook you can buy tickets. But thanks for Place to Be.
The Place to Be will still be here, though. That's a new one.
Oh, is there something?
Yeah, so no, they are finalizing the paperwork for a new owner that's going to actually, she
Good
gave
to
it
know.
one more ditch effort, kind of put it out there to try to sell the business, and somebody has come forward and is buying the business, so it'll still, I think, plan on being the place to be, and so some new ownership, and she's very, very excited, and
Just kind of say goodbye to Pam and meet the new owner.
Thank you. I didn't realize that.
No, but to your point, Pam and Doug and her family have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the Place to Be, and she's not leaving the community. They'll still be here, but she'll, I'm sure, get plugged in and be as active and vocal in a lot of different areas too. So she's it's, I think, bittersweet for them, this whole thing, but so it's nice for you to give them a shout out, because it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And you brought up Miss Jeske. She's my daughter's teacher this year, and my daughter absolutely adores her and loves going to class with her. So it sounds like a great recognition for her from the school. So very good. Good. Councilor Coleman.
Mr. Mayor, I also attended the Bridging Cultures, and just to echo on what you were saying, when you came in and you had about, I think, 10 or 12 questions to answer, you had to, or find someone that had done one of these things. I mean, anywhere from someone that's jumped out of an airplane to you had to find a set of twins. You had to find someone that had hitchhiked from one state to another. You had to find someone that commutes 50 miles to work. Someone had run out of gas on the freeway. So it was
one for everybody.
it was a lot of fun, and I'd never been to it. I felt kind of in the minority there. I don't know why. Let's see. I attended the November 23rd planning meeting, and they approved a 2.5-acre Canby self-storage, which is kind of located on Southeast First behind the Providence Clinic. I'd also just like to congratulate the Main Street, the Parks and Public Works. First Avenue looks terrific, all lit up. The parks looks great. Going to be out for the first Friday, and I'm excited about that. I would encourage everyone, I'd like to thank our policemen and firefighters for all they do, and just encourage our community. Every chance you get to thank our officers and firefighters, our community truly wouldn't be the same without them. I'd also like to congratulate and commend the Canby Herald. I think they've really been doing a great job, and especially commend Daniel Pearson for his work. I think he's been a great asset to our community. Let's see. A couple of other things. I understand that the old Shell gas station on 99 has been purchased and is expected to reopen. Also, another business that's expected to locate in the downtown is Sugar Plum Bakery and Cafe.
That's correct.
And I'd like to wish everyone also a Merry Christmas.
And I think that the restaurant is opening this Saturday, I think. I have to double check, but yeah, another kind of another restaurant I think going in there. So yeah, bakery, and which, as you can see, I don't pass up on too many baked goods. What was so funny, Chief? What's that? So the restaurant is, it's where Mini Chef is. I think it's changing hands again. So, yeah. So, I think their Facebook page said that they were going to be opening this Saturday, I think. So, yeah. So stay tuned. I guess look for open banners and whatnot. So, yeah, that's good. We need another restaurant that's some excitement going. It'll be good. All right. Moving to the consent agenda this evening.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the minutes of the November 18th, 2015 City Council regular meeting and the reappointment of John Surlett to the Planning Commission for a term to expire on December 31st, 2018.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilor Dale and seconded by Councilor Hensley to approve the consent agenda, which includes the adoption of the minutes of the November 18th, 2015 City Council regular meeting and reappointment of John Surlett to the Planning Commission for a term to expire on December 31st, 2018. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Goes 6-0. Resolutions and ordinances.
The first item we have is ordinance 1429. This is authorizing a contract with Hill Inc. in the amount of $102,230 for construction of the Fairway Lane sanitary sewer replacement, transferring budget appropriations between existing categories, and declaring an emergency. And this is before you for second reading.
Self-explanatory. It is an existing sewer line, and we have had problems with it in the past and felt that the most expedient long-term solution was to just replace it.
That's a great call. Thank you, Rick. Thanks.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt ordinance 1429, authorizing a contract with Phil Incorporated in the amount of $108,230 for construction of the Fairway Lane sanitary sewer replacement, transferring budget appropriations between existing categories and declaring an emergency.
Great.
Second that.
Thank you, sir. Motion's been made by Counselor Hensley and seconded by Counselor Coleman to approve Ordinance 1429, authorizing a contract with Phil Incorporated in the amount of $108,230 for construction of the Fairway Lane sanitary sewer replacement, transferring budget appropriations between existing categories, and declaring an emergency. Roll call vote.
Counselor Russia?
Yes.
Counselor Parker?
Yes.
Counselor Hensley?
Yes.
Counselor Dale?
Aye.
Counselor Hyde?
Aye.
Counselor Coleman?
Yes.
Thank you.
The next item we have is Ordinance 1430. This is authorizing a contract with Canby Excavating for the rehabilitation of the Northeast 34th Place sewage pumping station, transferring budget appropriations between existing categories and declaring an emergency. And this is also before you for second reading.
And this project is one that we had considered either a partial reconstruction or a full replacement, and even recognizing that there were some additional costs associated with the full replacement, we have proceeded to recommend that replacement to you because the long-term benefits associated with replacing the entire system significantly outweighed the increased cost.
Great. Thank you, Rick.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt Ordinance 1430, authorizing a contract with Canby Excavating Incorporated for rehabilitation of the Northeast 34th Place sewage pumping station, transferring budget appropriations between existing categories and declaring an emergency.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Counselor Hensley, seconded by Counselor Roche to approve Ordinance 1430, authorizing contract with Canby Excavating Incorporated for the rehabilitation of the Northeast 34th Place sewage pumping station, transferring budget appropriations between existing categories, and declaring an emergency. And a roll call vote.
Counselor Russia?
Yes.
Counselor Parker?
Yes.
Counselor Hensley?
Yes.
Counselor Dale?
Aye.
Counselor Hyde?
Aye.
Counselor Coleman?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
The next item we have is Ordinance 1431. This is authorizing a contract with Roche Inc. for the wastewater treatment facilities biosolids load-out building project, transferring budget appropriations and declaring an emergency.
This is part of the multi-year wastewater treatment facility upgrades you have approved over the last 2 years, and we also have upgrades scheduled for the 16-17 and 17-18 fiscal year. The 2015-16 project is to replace an existing, what's called a biosolids loadout building. And what it is that as the biosolids, what is remaining after the water is treated and released, flow through, they drop into a location and they're loaded up and hauled to a site under an existing contract. The effort this year includes finding a way to help further dispel and remove some of the odors associated with handling of these biosolids. The price of $885,000, which Rotsky Incorporated was a low responsive bidder on, is about $200,000 more than our original estimate. It is higher because the building is somewhat larger than it was, and construction costs have escalated at a rate faster than our engineer expected them to. I did speak with Dave Connor at length about this project. We looked at some alternatives that could have included downgrading the quality of roofing material, perhaps not putting the air conditioning unit in today, perhaps not using the fans would have dispelled some of the odors, and none of those solutions had long-term benefits. And to measure the short-term cost of $200,000 against the long-term value of it just makes good business sense to spend the additional $200,000, which will require transfer into this budget line item. One interesting outcome of this is that we have an odor control project scheduled for 2017-18 that may not be necessary because of the improvements and the odor dispersal techniques that are being used or that will be used in this building. There are dispersal techniques that we just put in place last year. The on the intake side of our wastewater system, and they've had remarkable benefits in terms of the odors emanating from the facility. So just that one change, and we're anticipating probably an equal benefit out of the biosolids handling portion, that it will solve all of the odor issues. We know based on our experience from the project last year that it will make us a significant improvement over what we're currently. While I can't guarantee experiencing, which is a significant improvement over what we had 18 months ago. So we're making progress each year, and as I said, the project estimate for the 2017-18 odor control project is about $1.3 million. So if we can avoid those costs by making this particular improvement, that would be a great outcome. Although, best laid plans, I won't say that we did all of this because we were expecting this great reward on the back end. It's just a positive outcome that might be possible and is probably likely to occur. Staff recommendation is to approve the contract as presented to you, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt ordinance 1431.
Well, you can have discussion after the second.
That is
Should we do that?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administrator to execute a contract with Trotsky Incorporated for the wastewater treatment facility biosolids loadout building project, transferring budget appropriations and declaring emergency.
Okay. Any questions or discussion?
I do.
Yes.
I have a numbers question, actually. So it was 200,000 over. We'd budgeted for, it looks like, 875,000 for the building, right? And then the bid came in at 885,000. I'm wondering where the 200.
It's engineering costs and construction administration costs associated with the project itself.
Okay. But that wasn't budget. Oh, it was unexpected.
It was part of the total all-in cost. We were expecting the project itself to be about 175,000 less than the bids came in. And there is a project administration component that we will exceed. Kern McLeod will handle the construction administration. They did the engineering and the design work on the project as our contract city engineers. So between their costs and the cost of the building construction itself, the total end is. And as a comparison, which I think will kind of make it make sense a little bit using our existing library project, that the building will be $6.8 to $6.9 million, but our project is $9.4 million because there are other costs associated with the building beyond putting the four walls up, and that's the same thing here.
Right. It's interesting to see the number. If you look at the 5-year capital improvement plan, like 6.5, it looks like over 5 years. That's big. It's a big number.
It is, but in relation to other cities that have a water treatment or a wastewater treatment system serving a population of 16,000 and a fairly robust industrial development, our costs on a per capita basis over an extended period of time are really, really very positive. We've got a great crew working at our wastewater treatment facility, and I'll tell you, they do everything they can. They just recently submitted a rebate to Canby utility because we did an energy upgrade, and that took a lot of work and a lot of thought on the part of our wastewater staff, and they were able to get a check back from Canby Utility for some energy upgrades that they did that wouldn't have been obvious and probably wouldn't have been sought after by most people that are in those positions. So I'm really grateful to the work that they do.
Great. Thanks, Rick.
Agreed. Yeah.
Any other questions, Councilor?
I don't think so.
No?
Yeah.
All right, well, we've got motion on the table.
I'll second that.
We've got it seconded there by Councilor Rocha. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries 6-0. Thank you. Yeah. New business this evening, cancellation of our December 16th, 2015 City Council meeting. Kim, there's nothing on the agenda?
You have no items for an agenda.
Anyone opposed to? We can add some
We can
things.
come sing Christmas carols.
I don't
Todd
sing
can
very
lead
well.
us.
That's one of my
Unless there's burning desire to add some things to the agenda. I'm seeing heads nodding that
I
we're.
think we're good.
I think it's a nice gift to city staff to have us out of their hair for a couple of weeks.
The city staff would agree with that.
On behalf of city staff.
Great. So, Merry Christmas to city staff. So we will consider that meeting canceled then. Rick, any administrator business or reports at all?
Just a couple items that would report that we will be ready, weather permitting, to begin our slab on grade pour at the City Library and Civic Building on Friday of this week. I think that we're going to end up having to push it out to next week based on current weather reports, but our contractor is just going to keep an eye on the weather. We have some fairly sensitive areas. We've got some finished concrete sections in the building which have to have a very smooth finish, so we have to be very cautious in the pour, and we have to have a pretty high degree of confidence that we're not going to get any wet weather. So they're tracking it very closely, and we're anxious to get it done. Last week, the ADA access ramp on the back was poured, as were some steps. You'll note that all of the stem walls are up, and all of the undergrounding is completed. The rebar is being laid in the slab on grade to prepare for the pour. You'll see 2 days of pouring, and they'll start early on 2 different mornings depending on weather. They'll pour about 40% of the building one day and 60% the next day, because that's just how it lays out. And then we will be ready to start erecting steel and walls.
Nice. Excellent.
We're making good progress. Amanda's doing a great job managing this project.
Great. Thank you for that update. Any other fun bits?
No, I will also say, however, that I did have an opportunity to preview at the 90% level last night, the Light Up the Night, and we are all in for a real treat because it's really beautiful this year. And they weren't done yet. They had some ground level displays to be done that they were going to wait till the last minute to make sure that they weren't bothered in the hours leading up to the Light Up the Night event. But we also were able to finish the new electrical panel with remote switching, and so this year's Light Up should go off without a hitch.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I had an objection 2 years ago when Renata and Jamie had to stand on an apple crate in order to reach the switch on the electrical panel. If it wasn't unsafe, it certainly didn't look very good to have a couple of our staff there hanging by the petards trying to get this thing turned on. So I'm glad we've made that a little bit more professional. Thank you.
Yeah, between Public Works and the contractor working collaboratively, the new installation both looks and works really, really well, and Public Works was able to work so closely with the contractor that we saved about half on the cost of the installation. We may not otherwise have been able to afford it. So they did a wonderful job.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for keeping on that and lighting up more of the park each year.
It's going to be gorgeous.
Awesome. Great.
And that's all that I'm going to bother with you tonight.
Okay. Joe, anything? You've been quiet tonight. No? All right.
Thank you.
Kim?
I have something.
Great.
Clackamas County has asked us to help get the word out to businesses that effective January 1st, under Oregon's Indoor Clean Air Act, that the signs that are currently on business doors that say no smoking need to be changed to new ones that say no smoking or vaping. Signs can be downloaded from oregon.org, and we also have a link on the city's main webpage, and the county's working diligently to try to get the word out. So,
Can you get word to Mallory over there at the chamber?
did.
Love it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Can't stay ever.
Done. All right. Great. Thank you. Next opportunity for citizen input. Bob, you may, sir.
My name's Bob Cornelius. I'm a citizen here in Canby. Been here over 20 years. But what I'd like to do is publicly thank all the people who work for the city, the people out in the trenches and in the offices, their supervisors, the managers, Kim, our lawyer, Rick, our city administrator who makes everything happen, and each and every one of the city councilors for the time and their efforts to make Canby the wonderful city that it is, the city that I'm proud to call my home. Thank you all. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
That's very sweet.
And I would add only one comment, that I am now proud to say that I am a homeowner in Canby.
Congratulations.
Happy to be here. Thank you for the support.
Perfect. Kim, action review.
You have approved the consent agenda. You've adopted ordinances 1429 and 1430. You've approved ordinance 1431 to come up for second reading on January 6th. And staff will cancel the December 16th city council meeting.
Great. Thank you, Kim. Joe, exec session tonight.
Not tonight.
That's our Christmas present.
I know that's a gift to us, right?
Thanks, Joe.
Canby, have a very Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year, and we will see you first week of January.
Sure.
Thank you. We're adjourned. Oh, I need a motion.
Yeah, so
I can't
moved.
just
You're
end
not
it.
king. So I
All
move
right.
adjourn.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Good night.